I decluttered 100,000 things as a hoarder, and trust me, I counted everything. From paper clips to piles of clothes. This is my journey of how I let so much stuff go, one tossy tossy pile at a time. I used to be a level 4 hoarder, and now I am a level 1. If you are new to my channel, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Miss Hart, and I am a recovering hoarder where I discuss the mentality behind the stuff and actual decluttering processes that work for hoarding disorder and emotional declutter. So please like and subscribe so that we can start our decluttering journey together. Because when I started, I was a level 4 hoarder, and this house was jam-packed with stuff. I had goat trails, I had doors that were completely covered, I had bathrooms that were filled, and rooms that looked like storage lockers. And speaking of storage lockers, I used to be a storage facility manager and had storage lockers outside of the property too. Yeah, the hoarding was hoarding. But I knew deep down inside that I didn't want to struggle with this mental disorder anymore. I knew that I wanted to change, and the fuel and catalyst for me was my children. My children were very young when I started this journey, and that my oldest would say things like, "Oh, Mom, why can't our house be neat and tidy like Aunt Anna's or Aunt Jenny's? Their house is so clean, and I love playing in it." Woo! That played on the heartstrings, that I was like, wow, my own kids are noticing that hoarding and having cluttered spaces is not fun, or I need to change for them. But how? I didn't even know where to start. And it probably took me a year before I started this YouTube channel and covered my face from everybody. And when I started doing Tossy Tossy piles, they were literally maybe like 1 or 2 things, because that's what I could handle at the time so that I would continue decluttering. Sometimes when I look back, I'm shocked at the amount of items that I have. I think what it is that the 2025 me is shocked at the amount of stuff that the 2019 me had, because I'm such a different person. I have a lot more confidence in myself. I'm not afraid to be the voice to help other people with hoarding disorder. I own my mental disorder now. I embrace it, and I find ways to heal from it so that I can finally let all this stuff go. Because when you look back at all those tossy tossy piles that we did each and every week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah, I was crazy enough to post 3 videos a week, but I know that's what I did at the time. And all of the yard sales that we hosted over the years with hundreds of things on those tables and people buying stuff, and the sharing table when we used to be a part of the sharing table and bring clothes and stuff to that. All the times that we walked out bringing boxes of things out to the curb, or posting on Facebook Town's giving page, or selling stuff on the Facebook Marketplace. Man, all that stuff over the years very easily adds up to 100,000 items, because we let go of decades upon decades worth of stuff. And I also remember hearing a statistic that the average American household has 300,000 items in it. And that number really shocked me, because I was like, yeah, that is true. Because when you start to count every piece of paper that you go through, and every paper clip, and every little craft supply that I had, those numbers add up. And if the average American family has 300,000, what does a hoarder have? 600,000 items? At least double of the average family. And that number really, really shocked me. And even though within myself, I was doing it scared, I was healing and decluttering and doing it scared anyway. There was a flame within me that just continued to keep going. I continued to make videos with the safety of not being identified in public. And I was honest and open and vulnerable with my struggles, and that I could only let maybe 5 things go. And to me, that was a huge accomplishment. But what really was a turning point for me was that all of you were so supportive and so encouraging that it made me feel like, oh, it is okay to be vulnerable and explain the mindset of hoarding, because you have to understand, my entire life I hid it because society and people have just attached this really negative stigma, and it's such an isolating mental disorder that we don't admit we're hoarders because we're not ready to face the judgment, because the judgment is mirroring the judgment within ourselves, and we're just not strong enough to just face that pain because we're already feeling isolated. That was one of the turning points, was that I am accepted as somebody who struggles with this mental disorder. And each and every week, we just decluttered with baby step declutter. That's what worked for me, because I didn't have the capacity or mental stability to be able to clear out a whole room in one shot. That felt impossible to me. So I had to start where I was. And all baby step decluttering is just you take a little section and you just declutter what you can. For me, that was the smallest room in the house with the littlest drawer. That's where I started. And each and every week, as my Tossy Tossy piles got gradually a little bigger, I had positive reinforcement with my YouTube family, keeping me encouraged. That kept the accountability and rewiring that decluttering is a positive experience, not a negative one. And with each Tossy Tossy pile I had, I showed it. And I counted the most smallest little things, because to me, that was triumphant. And that made me know that I could do this. I can declutter. At that time, I did have to count a paperclip as part of my Tossy Tossy pile, because it showed that yes, I do have the mental, spiritually, emotional capacity and strength within myself to let it go. So if you are starting out on your journey and you have to count a piece of paper or a paperclip, by all means do it, because that's what I needed at the time to show myself that I could do this. Please know that the number of 100,000 items is over the span of years. It's the collective Tossy Tossy piles, because when you look back and see all the things that we let go, oh, it definitely adds up to that amount. Because to me, or somebody with hoarding disorder, to let go of one paperclip could mean they had to overcome 10 mental battles within themselves. That's why I say to celebrate letting go of a paperclip, a piece of paper. That's the mental disorder part of it. And that's why we celebrate each and everything that we let go of. Disorder on that spectrum, it is all emotional decluttering. For the most part, I'm decluttering emotionally, because there is a meaning, a nostalgia, an identity, a self-worth. There is always an emotion attached to the item. That's why we have the hardest time letting go of stuff. And some things, some things are pretty hard to let go of. Some things were very emotional. Some of the hardest things to let go of was the baby clothes. That stuff was really hard. But over time, we were able to let that go because I did emotional decluttering. I didn't notice as I was decluttering that internally I was giving each item a little emotional rating on it. So from 1 to 10, 10 being very emotional and 1 being not so emotional, I'd realize I was giving it a number. So if it was a 10, I was highly emotionally attached to it, I'm not going to let it go. I'm not even going to fathom letting it go. I'm going to put it in an organized bin and keep it so I keep my nervous system regulated and keep going. But if it was a 1 or a 2 or a 3, because those things did exist in my house, I let them go easily, no questions asked. Anything that fell in the middle, I looked within myself and said, this is a 5. Can I let this go? Do I feel comfortable? And intuitively, my body kind of let me know. Even though on the outside I was looking like I don't know what to do, intuitively, when I really looked within myself, I knew that yes, I can let this go, or no, I can't. And because I brought that self-awareness up to the surface, that's what helped me be successful in letting go of things and not regretting it, because I never forced myself to throw something out. That's how the pile started getting bigger and bigger in one shot, because I wasn't afraid and I brought the awareness up. Always said, underneath every behavior is a feeling, and underneath every feeling is a need. Meet the need. Each time we decluttered, we were meeting the need, the emotion underneath of it, and addressing it. And that's what started to unattach the emotions to the stuff. And I was able to have bigger and bigger piles and feel good about letting go of bigger piles, not being scared of it. That is a huge victory in recovering in your hoarding disorder, is not being attached to it, because even to this day, still a new feeling. There's things that I couldn't let go of 2 years ago that now I easily let go of. But I also want you to know that it's not just the number that's significant, it's the transformation that is significant. Because the person I was 5 years ago, wow, she was a completely different person, living in fear, living in shame. So showing how much easier and quicker it is to declutter and clean out a room is a reflection of the transformation that we have taken together over the years. Look, this growth and reflection, it's ongoing. It doesn't stop. We're still going to declutter. We still have stuff to go through, but it's okay. That's part of the process. It's part of the journey. And every time we clear out a space, we grow. We learn a new skill set. We let go of an old thought. So freeing to realize that you're not defined by your possessions, but who you authentically are. Letting go of 100,000 items has been so freeing that I feel like I've lost 100,000 pounds, if that was possible. And decluttering, it's an ongoing task. There's always more that you can let go of, and it gets easier with each and every time. And if you want to start your decluttering journey, I want you to know that you can do this. Even if you're feeling so overwhelmed by the amount of stuff, start where you are. Start with baby step decluttering, and that is starting in the smallest room in your house with the smallest section. It could be a drawer. It could be the front of your drawer. Whatever you feel that you can start going through. And if you can only let go of 3 paper clips in one session, that's okay. You won. That's 3 things you let go of. That counts, because over time, man, does that amount really add up. Every single Tossy Tossy counts. And let me know in the comment section below, what have you decluttered? How many things do you think you've let go of over the years? Or what are your goals? How many things in the next 30 days would you love to see exit your house? I'd love to read it so that we can all keep you encouraged as you're on your decluttering journey too. Because together, we can let go of 100,000 items, no problem. We got this. And my hope and my prayer is that this video motivated and encouraged you to clean, declutter, and let something go in your home today too.